Okay, so we're up to video 8. As I said, what you're going to see now is your website suddenly start to take a lot of shape. By now, you'll have a folder called images. You'll have your sliders in there, and it's also good practice to have your Photoshop document there as well right next to it. So once you've made the frame of your website, if you want to change the slider, you just edit your Photoshop, re-export the PNG to the same file name, and the website will automatically update, okay, without you need to do anything. So let's actually now put our slider in place. The first thing we need to do is go over to Bootstrap and documentation, in content. Oh, sorry, no, components, I always get that wrong. It was carousel. And again, they made it really easy for us. They've got the code block ready to go. So you have a choice of without controls, which is very common, or a choice of with controls. So it's up to you which one you pick. I'm going to choose the one with controls. Copy. And I'm going to paste that within my slider container. And I'll get rid of this white space. And then in the instance, it's actually quite simple. All I want to do is in the source here is direct that to my slide images here, which are in the images folder. So it's a very simple case of typing images/slide.png. Now you need to make sure, which I'll do in a second, I need to make sure that's correct. That is actually the file name. Even if, remember it's a program, if I did capital I for images, it won't know that's the file name. It's looking for the same path. I can be really lazy and paste that 3 times and simply add 1 and 3. Sorry, I do my numbering, so it's 1, 2, 3. So I need to add 1, 2, and 3. Now I need to add a 4th item because I've got 4 slides. It's really, really simple. I just basically need to add a new one of these carousel items. So I can just go return. I'll copy those lines there. So I'm going to grab the whole div. I've got to make sure the opening div of the carousel item, the closing div, and the content. Paste that again and add slide 4. Now also, if you might want to put some text inside your container, you can also put some, if you want to have some text, you can include some p text here, and then you can use CSS to style that and position it within the slide. Now also, it's really important for accessibility, we should have alt text. So alt text means if someone's using a screen reader, so someone who has low vision, what happens is as they hover their mouse over things, the screen reads what's on the screen. So you should actually be describing your image. So I'll expect to see that in all your pages. It's called a thing called accessibility. So you should have a description. This is a promo image of game X for console Y. Okay, so you'd actually have quite a decent description. Obviously, you'd have whatever the game is and whatever the console is, and you might have some more information about it. So it means someone who's vision impaired can visualize that image. So it would say an inspirational image of a horse galloping across the beach. You would say an inspiration image of a horse galloping across a white beach. Does that make sense? So you need to have all the alt text filled in. We're going to save that. Now we're going to test whether I've got everything right. I'm going to open the index, and there's my slider. I can slide through, etc. Now, one really, really important thing with sliders is, I'm just going to put a little bit of content. I'm only putting this here to show you something. There's no reason. I've made a separate folder that you don't need, just with 2 different images of slide 2 and 3. I'm just going to change that to images. Is it images 2? What do I call it? Images 2. Yeah, images 2. And what I've done is one image is the same aspect ratio. So it's a smaller image, but it's 600 by about, I think it was 1280. So it's the same image sucked in at the same aspect ratio. Another image is a square image. It's a totally different aspect ratio. So I want you to see what happens to the content. So there. Oh, did I save that. So that's the larger image. So it moves the text around. That's the square image. It automatically scales it to the screen. Then when this comes, so this image is actually the same aspect ratio, but smaller. You'll see that text, except the text here called force to move, causes the image itself doesn't change. Okay? So it's okay to have different sized images, but they must be the same aspect ratio, or your website will jumping up and down the place. Okay? So that is putting in the slider. I'm just going to stop this.